I have a fresh cup. This is only my second one. I swear, life falls into patterns. No matter what you do, it falls into patterns. This is exactly what happened yesterday. Only I started over, but he already has done one round of this when I was starting, and so then yesterday I just started over because he was making so much noise. But still, it's like the time. It's weird. It's like you go into this like timing thing because even when you're not working, you just I don't know, you develop a rhythm in your life or something where it falls into a natural schedule. Like we don't need clocks and stuff to tell us. It's just so strange how it will show you an alignment is well, because my days are more free. Just watch your free time. Like if you have, I don't know, everybody's different. I mean, you got people who are running over here, running over there, doing stuff with their kids and whatnot. So anyways, it's just something that I keep noticing. And I'm going to talk about some more things I keep noticing. Like there's so much going on. It's so exciting. But one of the things is that one of the things I wanted to say was something I was noticing was the things under attack over by me anyways. Definitely gut. It definitely something that's creating a lot of inflammation. And what was the other one? There was a third one. Inflammation, like my stomach, like whatever they're doing. And I have a bunch of things running in my head over that because there's so much interference in all our resources, all the things that we take in, even, air. So that is, there's a lot of interference, and so it is attacking us in all different ways. But definitely, the inflammation and, oh yeah, because even when I was doing like some stretches and stuff, oh yeah, I wanted to say that. Okay, hold on. That when I was, I always feel like I have to give too much backstory. Let's just skip through some of this fast. So, when you're exercising, and you got to do movement every day. Every day you have to keep the vessel going. This was so good. This movie that just popped up for me yesterday. It was so exactly what I talk about. It's called Perfect People. And it's from 1988. It had Lauren Hutton and Perry King. And when the movie starts, they're an older couple that they've raised their kids. Their kids have all gone off now. And they've just like let themselves go. They focused on their family, let themselves go. And so then it starts bothering Lauren Hutton. Like she wants to go out and have some fun and stuff. And so it has a lot of stuff with these two different personalities, but there's some really cute stuff too because they're such a couple. Like they really are just this cute couple that they really care about what each other thinks. And so and they have discussions and stuff, and there's a lot, they really like each other. Oh my gosh, was a lot of good stuff in it, but they go into this like superficial thing. But one thing too is, like I had said, oh my god, this is okay. Now I feel like I'm drowning in information. Hold on, because there's like so much. Oh god. Okay, so I was man, because I gotta try and keep it all straight. It's like folders start popping open, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, link, link. It's like, oh yeah, I thought about that yesterday. We talked about that yesterday. It's like, okay. So, okay. On the joint, okay. I'm going to go back to the movie in a second. On the joints thing, okay, so on the movement thing, you got to keep yourself moving all the time. Every day in this movie, we'll link some more stuff because it was saying so much stuff of what I say, and it has a region of information. And I was being shown even how the information is dislodged, because I had questioned that before. Is like, you know, this body positivity. How did it go in two different poles? And you know, like I've said, when you put the questions out there, the answers come to you. It may not come immediately, but things will come to you. Information will come to you to direct you. And, you know, and I think it's like this mass awakening is mass remembering, I think. So, hold on. Okay, I'll keep this all straight. As I wanted to talk about that with the generational divide and how it was turned and how they even used it to work to their benefit of creating this certain really body-driven group, you know, and it wasn't just body driven like, oh, I just want to look hot. No, people saw that when they took care of themselves, they began to look hot. And so it kind of went hand in hand. But so people were really into going to the gym and stuff. That's like when, you know, Richard Simmons, Jane Fonda, all this yoga, people would wear these tiny little clothes, tiny little shorts and tights and stuff. Like girls didn't go out, girls had tights on and stuff, but they would have like tiny little, these leotards. They would have these tiny little leotards on and stuff. It was like a whole style, just like how it's become now, but there's something different. And so now I'm seeing all this stuff is what makes it different. Okay, but it's like so much too. But so they get this one group who is all, you know, body conscious and exercise and stuff, and then there was a beating down, but it still is, it's bred into its programming. So it's in our consciousness. It's in our way of entering our reality. It's programmed into us, a certain way of looking at things. And so then you mess with the food and the people don't know. And so then they all start gaining weight and they don't know why. And then it leads to more depression, more toxic behaviors of starving themselves and stuff like that. And you can't go at things in lack. You always have to be looking at it as you're getting what you need. You get in what you need. You can't be always going like, I'm never having enough. Because it's a mindset. So, and it creates a reality. That's the thing. What you think becomes what your reality is. So but then they bumpered it up with changing this whole program. So they created a new program and then run the other program simultaneously, which creates division. So you have one group that thinks this way and another group that thinks this way. But so they do it. And then in the links, they create these bridges. So, and it's not like a good bridge. It's not one, you know, it's not to help reset a program. No, but you know, to me personally, I want to stay set in the program of health consciousness, not, you know, not the other, whatever it is. It's body positive, whatever they want, fucking label it. I'm more in agreement with the program of, but I was programmed this way too. So the people who are programmed the other way, I'm not saying like, well, you should be able to run our program. No, our program bothers them. It's like they think we are toxic and stuff. It's not. No, we were taught to take care of ourselves. That if you started gaining weight, that was a sign to show you to stop gaining weight. Not that get more into enjoying what you like to do and ignore your body. It was just this, but that's, see why they wanted to also break it, because it gave us more connection, mind, body, spirit. There were people who were taking care of themselves. There weren't people who were sick all the fucking time. There were people who were jogging, and it was all this whole health wave that went through. And that's one of those things where you're looking like, what happened? Because they do it intentionally. It's like they run a program, and it's all to create this, well, they're watching to see what it creates, you know? And this is another thing too. Okay, hold on. Hold on, I gotta take a breath. Hold on. But so, okay, I'm gonna go back to the movement. So every day you've got to make movement. I mean, just think about, you know, you're a living vessel of energy, and, you know, the energy is not going to, what does energy need? Energy needs to move to make more energy. So if you sit and become stagnant, you dim. Is why it's weird, because how, like, how I'm seeing it, it's kind of weird, but how I'm seeing it is like a person, a couch potato person, and they sit there, and as they put on the weight, it dims their light. But there's so much more to the micro macro, because it has to do with their self-esteem and stuff. It has to do with them, like, isolating and not taking care of themselves. Like, you know, all this stuff. This is something too that is, you know, a perfect example. Okay, now I'm opening a whole nother tab. All right, so hold on. Yeah, so I'd seen this video yesterday, and then somebody had sent it to me today too, and it was really hitting me with this. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna say what I mean about something. So hold on. Okay, so this woman, and she's on video. Somebody's, because everybody, I'm kind of weirded out. Like, seriously, I'm very, I can't even watch these videos anymore where people are like, everything seems like it's all just fucking made up. People are just out there making shit up and having interactions that is all set. It's too weird. But so I don't think this one was, because I'm sure this one, because this video is another one of those where, you know, you just don't see it coming, and it's going to be blowing up. Now they're on their third guy, the third guy who beats dogs. This guy curb stomps their heads. So I can't remember his name, but this, you know. So this lady, she looks like she's military dressed. And it could be, you know, this is the thing. It's like, when we get in judgment, we don't really know their story. You know, right now, there's this time of war. She could be getting shipped out. No family members available to take her dogs. She takes them to the place. I mean, she could be really in a huge stress right now, and takes them to the shelter. But shelters are refusing them and telling people to go put them out in the woods. And, which, put them out in the woods is better shot than fucking putting them in a kill shelter. Like, I mean, get a huge bag of dog food or something and put it out there with them or something. If you really can't handle it, this is the thing that I want to make a point about, is because everything is to show you you. And right now you have the convenience of not being completely connected to your soul, because your soul's going to give you different guidance than the humane center. So and there could be pressures on this woman. I don't know. I mean, none of us know. We don't know her story. We're going to see her action, and she's going to be ganged up on and gang stalked. Like, you have all these people gang stalking so bad, and then they all jump on. Go after those ones, though. So fucking Twilight Zone, man. He showed that stuff in the Twilight Zone so many times. I don't know what the hell happened. That's just stayed in our programming. But so so she gets her dogs out, and they look kind of young, like, you know, they don't look old, and but they don't look like puppies. But so she puts them out in the woods and drives off, and the guy's sitting there filming it all. And when she sees him filming, she goes back over and tries to call him to get in the car, like she's trying to take him or something. And then she gets in her car and drives off. And so, you know, he's narrating, of course, you know, this one now, let's all go. It's like, God, you guys, I know everybody wants to go viral, like, to make someone else famous for some mistake they've made, but, you know, what kind of energy are you putting out? If you're trying to get a whole bunch of people to gang up on somebody, Like, what is it you're putting out there? And that's blowing up in a lot of people's faces. Like, there's some bad shit that's happened with that energy. So that's something that's why I say you got to be more mindful. And so, but the point I want to make is, so it's easy to go out and do this stuff while you're disconnected from your soul. And so this is the big connect. The awakening is the remembering, this whole thing where you just are suddenly going to be so connected to everything. It's like you're going to be plugged in a sense, for the first time for some people in their whole lives. And I see it like this whole circuit board coming on. And it is right now, see how everything happens naturally. When you see some of these protests in some of these countries, like, they are taking down the government all over the place. Like, this is man standing up for their rights. I saw a woman in one of the places, and she was crying. She was just like, this has gone on for hundreds of years, and now the people have, this made me cry. Because I told you guys, this is what it's all about. And it's super emotional. Like, so the hold on, it's very emotional. This is such a long time of repression, and man is taking a stand, and because man is remembering, man is coming to life. Like, stop being, stomped on, and stop being the underdogs or this. So it's us coming together and standing together and saying no. So it's really cool. And so governments are going down all over the place. And there's so much going on with the money thing. Wall Street is crashing hard yesterday. And you got all these people, oh, it's no big deal. It's going to just bounce back. You guys, don't panic. Just go buy some investments while they're low and shit. It's like, but same thing. It's like this lady going and doing the dogs. So all of a sudden, the world's going to plug in and it's going to just like come on like Christmas lights. But when your circuit comes on, that is when you're going to see yourself in a whole new way. And you're going to see these things like going and dumping the dogs. It seems like, oh, well, what else was she going to do? But when you plug in, all of a sudden your soul is going to show you. You're going to see. And you're going to see in a whole new way. And that's why I said it's going to be mass suicide, 100%. People are not going to be able to face themselves. They're not going to be able to. It's going to hurt them so deep inside. But remember that nobody can take themselves out unless that was their written plan. And this is something that I wanted to say, and I still haven't finished. Okay. And so, like, trying to look and see which is smaller, which would be faster. Okay, I'll try this one. So, because I still haven't finished on the movement thing. So, okay. Because it has a couple of things. Okay, so on this one, so a lot of times, because this connection I have is deep. It's deep in my soul. Like, it's like I can feel this person. It's like I know what they're doing and thinking and stuff. Like, it's trippy. And there's nobody you can talk about with it because nobody understands it. And so, you have to keep your sanity because it can make you feel insane, especially when everybody tells you you're insane. So, but I can recognize a soul connection. So, and the universe has made it clear too. Like, even if I try and doubt, I'll get flooded. So, anyways, I just go with the flow and know I'm connected with this person, and knowing that somewhere there's an intersection in our lives where we are, together. And so this connection, when you feel it really strong and everything, and this is a part where people would say, oh, this is manifesting. But this is where I'm trying to say it's different. It's not just like coming up with something, well, I want that, and I'm going to just sit here and think it into being. No, it's more of the universe telling you, and you being like, are you sure? And it's different. That's why I keep trying to talk about it, so people can try and start wrapping their heads around it. It's different than what you're told. You got to get in connection with yourself. And so but the point is that I was trying to make is that there's a lot of times in the morning time that I'll get up and, that person will be with me. Like there's a lot of times just through the day, I'll be thinking, about life with them with me. I can picture them and stuff like that. And so, but this morning, okay, so this morning I was sitting there and I can feel, like they gave me a time frame before when this all started. And this was always the time frame. Like they showed me where it was going to happen. Like it's not like I know exact moment or anything like that, but I know that it's close. And which makes it even more like, where you're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I don't know. I get feeling like, am I going to get invited somewhere or something? I don't know. And so, but anyways, so I will feel, it's like, feel this person, around like this manifesting or something like this is the part where people say like, well, you believe it and stuff. Yeah, I believe it because it's real. It's inside me. And it's not outside of me yet, but it's inside of me. And so, yeah, I believe it. And I mean, it's weird over the past few days how I've had so many flashbacks and stuff of things. And yeah, I've always gone with what I believe, even if it makes no sense. And it's weird because when I look at that, it is kind of strange. And I can see like why people would think like, God, she's so weird. Because it is kind of strange. But anyways, but we're all running programs. And so, and it's our role. It's what we're here. You can't go outside of your role. Like, that's when things will keep pushing you back. And so, so believing something is real and, but it's like seeing it. So when they say like, oh, well, when you're manifesting, you'll see it and stuff. Yeah, I see it. And so I will see this stuff. And sometimes I'll feel like, I'm all focused on that. Like, oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be so like, having somebody to talk to in the morning and talk about the things and somebody who's on my same vibration, on my same wavelength, where we just get each other. It's like, it's hard to not be excited about that. And so then, but this morning, so, and I'm having more, like I've said, part of my stuff, what I've been learning is about being in the here and now. And that is what gives me more perspective over this manifesting concept too. And destiny, like that's a big part of it. And my learning stuff. So the things that I'm here in my role to learn is what I'm sharing. And so, and so I try and, I talked about this before about being in the here and now and how it's so hard not to project forward, not to live in the past, but just stay in this moment right here, right now. And then our phones, it can drag us out. And it drags us often into the projection of the future, which you can be looking at other people's, and also because it creates fear when you're seeing, even though I'm going in and I'm looking, trying to find out like what's going on in the world, you've got to go through so many fucking videos to see it. And there's so much stuff. So it triggers things inside of you that does take you out of the here and now, because you go into this, I don't know, it could be used for a time of reflection, because you can start, you can see things of people talking about certain things that will trigger childhood memories. And so there's a lot. But it definitely takes you out of the physical, natural here and now. And so it is more like a tool. Like you use it as a tool to take you out of the here and now. Like, but you got to figure out like why you're exiting the here and now and not just becoming addicted to the exit, because that's a distraction, because you need to be in the here and now, because that is your movement through the game. So anyways, so I was in there getting my tea this morning, and and right away I was going into this thought of like, like this replaying of a morning or something with this person. And then I was getting it strong with, you got to remember, in the here and now, like this is where we all lose appreciation and stuff in life. And then we all live in regret. Like we wish we would have appreciated that moment more, because all moments are short-lived. They are only that moment in time. You can't recapture them. Even like people do this all the time is, like we're going to go on this big vacation and we're all, like family, these big family things, and we're all going to go and it was so much fun. Let's do it every year. But you can't recapture moments. You can try, but it's a lot more important to be in the here and now and have the gratitude. And that is, I could go into more stories about that, but I still got way too many things open. So the so so I was sitting there and I'm always talking to them, like, because I'm always talking to them and they're always talking to me. There's always conversation going. And so I was getting my tea and I'm standing there and I turned around and started going into this other space. And then I remembered, like, but this is this moment in time, right here, right now. And this moment in time, you'll never be able to recapture it. This moment in time where there's just this ultimate peace. It's just you in this morning and this cup of tea right here, right now. And I just sat back to absorb the moment and to really feel the presence of this experience. And every experience is short-lived, because that's the thing too, is like, because you can get in an experience and you can be like, this sucks, it fucking sucks, I hate it, and then but then you missed out on all the good things that experience brought, because you always wanted to get to the next experience. And then when you get to the next experience, then you want the next one up ahead, because this one's boring now, you got to it and you already spent all your time thinking about it, so it's already done. So it's important to stay in these moments, because then you really have this, it's not like you need it's like a time traveling destination. Like it's a moment that was created, and so you have the opportunity to go back and live it. And when you are present in it, you can have sorrow when it goes, but you can also have that moment. Because I'm getting this thing with people. There's so many people who are having their kids die right now, and to so many people, it's not fair. I was too short of a time and stuff. But this is something that we're learning. This is this appreciation of these moments in time and giving them their significance. Like, we don't need 100 more of them. We need to appreciate the one that we have right now. And so when that hit me, it was like this huge wave that went over me, and I saw all of this stuff, and it was like this pulled way out, and there's always this way out and then moving in. That's why I'm always saying about this gradients, this everything leads to everything else. It's like this bleed out, bleed in. It's like this movement in the universe, And when we are the thing that's bleeding in and bleeding out, we are the color, we are the creation, we are the, it's even like our aura gives the color to the, the matter, to the experience about how it's created. It's all of these energies all around us. So that's kind of weird. So if it's all of our aura, all of our colors is what makes up all of the color of everything in the universe. But everything is energy. Like I've said, but not everything is conscious energy. But everything is energy. So anyways, I don't know. Sometimes it's on how, you got to decipher like these movies and stuff like that. So, okay. So anyways, I was standing there and it like hit me, and it made me feel so emotional too. But then I'm trying to see the visual to remember how it was, because it was like so profound, how it was like this, everything is like this weaving of experience. It was shown to me again with this concept of everything being woven. We're the fabric in this big elaborate, like a snowflake is a, because to me it represents this natural, it has order, it has design, and it's naturally, that's the thing with how the universe works with cause and effect. And said, like, that's why I say there's a natural order, that anything you go out of the natural order, if you try and disrupt the natural order, which you can't disrupt it in the higher realms, you can in these lower realms, but you can't in the higher ones. But even in the lower ones, there's still structure, because okay, because it was something like that I was seeing. It was this like role, like we are all just these roles, and it's man, some of this stuff is so hard to explain, but it's the same stuff as I keep saying. I mean, if you listen to all of these different videos and stuff, it's the same stuff. It is this like everything is set. You come in for this experience, you know what the experience is going to be. It's written for you, and it's all in its own time. Everything is this perfect timing. And see how I just see it going out into this snowflake, into this cool design, this geometric. That's what they must be talking about, like the what do they call that? The universe geometrics. I don't know. I hear him say something about, like, I don't know, something like the 369, the going out and making these geometric designs. But so it's like the design is created, but it's trippy because each individual, each storyline is a creation of it, like its own snowflake. But then, oh, that's fucking cool. So each snowflake, oh man, okay. Fuck, I gotta look away. That's cool. So it's like every person creating their own snowflake. It is like, if you've ever seen like one of those things where the thing keeps going out and going out. Like they'll do that sometimes on these binaural beats channels. They'll have really cool visuals. And I've seen these ones where the design just keeps going and going. That's how the universe works. Like there's some of those that are so accurate on how things are. But so, all of us are these little designs because it's micro macro. So each of us independently would be the creation of a template, a snowflake, this template, a design of the thread that we have woven out there. So everything is its own creation of an example of living, but then all of them connect and they like bleed into each other, so they all connect, which creates another one. So we're only a design in the design, if you get what I'm saying. So you are a design inside the design. So see how important you are, because the design would lose all form if without your design. That's why we all are the what makes up the universe, because it's all of us together that gives it form. So conscious energy is very integral to the whole thing. It's important. So yeah, everybody's got to wake up. Come on, snap to it. No, I mean, we're in a game. We're not really out there in the heavens. If we were out in the heavens, you would be awake. This is trying to wake up in a game. So the I was trying to remember who you are in a game, because it changes the game. It changes how you play the game. It changes it. You become the sunglass person and not the NPC. And so that's out, free guide. Okay. So, okay, I think I finished that part. I didn't finish the part about the moving. I mean, I keep having this. It's so weird here too. There's no fucking telling. I know that I have horrible inflammation right now, and part of the reason why I had known was because I was feeling really, really stiff. And this is what I had noticed that I really wanted to push on people, was because when you're feeling that stiffness, you don't want to just let it get more build up. You want to go and do stretches and stuff. And so I was feeling super stiff. And then I started getting this really bad ache, like in between my right hip and my groin area. It was hurting so bad. It just, oh, it was weird. And I was like, okay, that's lymph. So there's something that's, inflammation in my lymph. And all my joints have been really, really sore, like this finger. It's moving right now, but so many times it's like when you get these things that are stick, that is inflammation in your joint. There's still so much, it hurts. And the inflammation in your joints is your body's reaction to something trying to come in, something it doesn't want, something that doesn't belong. And we're being, shrouded. We're being, the most you can think of. Like, they're just pouring it on us of all this different stuff to create these reactions in our bodies, so that we think, well, I'm sick, I've got this, I've got that. And they make these tests that say you got all this stuff. So then, but that's all, it's all words. So then you have, so the joint stiffness and stuff is showing that you have stuff in your body that's getting stuck. Think about like your filter. Think about, you've got this filter system. This is how the universe works as well. So micro, macro, you have a filter system that filters through. Well, when they're dumping all these poisons and stuff like that, it puts all that onto overdrive. So your system can't keep up. And so what happens, like with your air conditioner or whatever, you have to get out the filter and you have to clean it. So it's important to keep your filter system clean. And so that is what you think about, what you're consuming. And in your consumption, you need to make sure you have things that are detoxing you and keeping your filter system clean, because that right there can be a big problem in your system, why you keep getting sick or headaches or stomach or whatever it is. And then they are attacking other places too. So your gut health is important, like I've said a zillion times. That's where you absorb your nutrients. That's why it's totally under attack, and it's easy to do. And so many people have gut problems. So many people's hair is falling out. That's the deficiency, the mineral deficiency and stuff. So all this stuff, they tell you that it's something else. It's just these few things. So the inflammation, the yesterday, so when I was having that problem in my groin right there, where I know that there's a lymph node, like right in that place, like where in between your pubic bone and your hip bone, like right here, and you have like where your leg connects, right in that part where your connection is, there's lymph nodes and stuff. And so you can look up on in your body, they have like little maps and stuff to show you, but just think about, you know, your body has got these filters, that things that when there's too much crap in there, it's getting stopped up. And so I was if you go into like I think it's called like Wong Gong or something like that, like Eastern practices. I'm not going to just say religion, but that, you know, that's what we would want to think of it more of like, but it's more Eastern practices and philosophies because it all goes together with health and spirituality connection and stuff. It's different than what we have. It's different than what we have. So it's, you know, I've always thought it was so interesting. But so they have different practices and movements. Like there would be nothing seeing an old lady out doing her stuff and all, you know, releasing her lymph and all these energy storage places to get themselves moving in the morning. So, but here, you know, we would see somebody doing that and go, oh my God, what a weirdo. Why did they do that? I don't know. Why did they do that? It's like, guys. So, we're just, anything that is in America, anything that is, you know, not being done by the crowd is weird. And that's why we got to, you know, change our way of thinking. So the, so I know some of these movements and stuff that to release this lymph and stuff. So there's crouching and stuff to do, which is so weird how when I had that flashback where I was one of these little Oriental women, I don't know where I was, you know, but I was with this whole group of them. It was weird too. When I came in, it was like, it was like an awareness that something was different. Like how, I don't know, there was a whole, it was very strange. It was a very strange experience. And, but we were all in this crouching position. And so there's this crouching position and it releases lymph. And so you want to do those kinds of things. Look for the things to move the lymph through you. And that is important too. Like if you've had any of these injectables, you've got to keep moving it out. I think that would help a lot of these people because it's kind of getting scary. Because there's a lot of people who have been doing lots of injections. There's somebody showing these different like movie star girls who've been getting them and what's happening to their face. And the reason their faces are getting so puffy is that this stuff absorbs water or something and it moves around. Like there's all this stuff. Yeah, I just think it's kind of sad, you know, because they get these girls, you know, to think, well, you can't work. You got to get down there, go see Dr. So-and-so. And it's just a bunch of Dr. Frankenstein shit that is driven by people's ego and need to be famous or need to have this or that or whatever. And there's always this consequence, man, of life. And so there's a lot of these people who have a lot of this stuff in their faces, a lot. I don't know if it's the CT scan that started it all or whatever, but the one that I've seen, it's like this whole green layer of chemicals in between their face and their skin and their tissue. And so anyways, you got to be moving this stuff. Like it really makes me think like, man, you know, starts making you go like, how many injections do I have? How many, you know, like, I don't even remember. I know I had Botox a couple of times. I think I did it like 3 times. And it seems like I did like 10 units or something like that. It seems like one time it was 14 units. Like if you bought 10, you got 4 or something. I don't know. Um, and I always did them at doctor's offices. So I didn't ever do the ones at a Botox party. There was tons of those kinds of things too. Those still go on. And I don't know if that's, the same stuff too. Like, if it's worse, if it's got more junk in it or whatever, who fucking knows? Like, but, and then I got the lip injections one time, and I don't remember how many units that was, but then it definitely was gone after a while. And so now they're saying that it doesn't leave your body. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I was like feeling my face yesterday. Is there like a puff there? Is there a place? Like, I don't know. But I just, to me, keep doing all of this lymph, moving lymph through your body. And then, if you've got sore arms or whatever, you've got to move them. So then when I was doing the releasing the lymph out of my groin area, then I was, my knee, it kind of went like stiff for a second. And then it's like I kind of had to pop through it with the inflammation. And then it felt like better. I was like, oh, because, a lot of times we get that inflammation and then we just sit there. Oh, well, it hurts. I don't want to move it. Yeah, it hurts. It just every time I move it, it hurts. And then so we'll start to favor it. And then that lymph or that inflammation will build, that fluid. And then it's way harder to push it out. So that is another thing I think is really important, to keep your movement every day. Because I move every day and I still get these build up things. And it's real easy to let them build up and become more. And so it was quick for me because I do it all the time. But definitely I had been noticing like how that just popped when I just moved my leg. That fluid that keeps being in my joints, and it makes them super sore. So, some people who use diuretics, but there can be other issues with that too, because there's always complications from all of their drugs and stuff like that. But so I think it's good to keep, flushing your body, keep flushing. Like, that's why it's good to drink a lot of water and stuff, is to keep flushing, your filter system, to keep it moving, to get this stuff out. But the movement is what releases the energy or the buildup. And so it moves to other places so you can, get rid of it. That's got to be confirmation. I don't know. And so so moving around and push past. If it's been a long while, like when I had injured my hip, when I fell into the trash can, like I've talked about this before, and I fell into the trash can and I split my head open. It's this place where my hair parts now. There's a scar there. And so so I had a big gash on my head. And that's more of what I was focused on, not what other thing, I could move, I could walk. So it was like, but over the days, my hip just got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And then by the time I ever went and said anything to the doctor, then they told me that I needed to get physical therapy. And then it was right when I was moving. And so then when I got over here, I had the paper to go get it, but I was like, fuck, I'm going to drive 45 minutes to go get physical therapy. It's like an all day thing. You got to drive there, you got to drive back, you got to go to your appointment. And it's like, fuck. And it's a lot of gas to be going into town all the time. And so I was like, that's where I started looking up the yin yoga, or I started looking up, I think what it was, I started looking up exercises I could do at home to release my hip, like with physical therapy or something. So I was looking up, and that is how I found the yin yoga. And so I started doing that. And so it was like a slow progression to move that inflammation out. Because at that point, when I had started, that would be like I was sitting, like I wouldn't be able to put my leg down past that. This would hurt to have my leg. Now I can put it over my head practically. Now I can do everything, but then I couldn't, it was like stuck and it hurt really bad. So I just went at it slowly. It's everything you got to do, wherever you're starting from. You just take steps. You don't have to take big ones. You don't have to jump. You don't have to be focused on where you want to be. You just have to take the steps to get to where you want to be. And so it's consistency. It's every day doing this same thing where you develop these patterns. And so every day, making sure that you are doing these stretches and stuff. That's why yoga is really good, because it's so much about stretching. And some of the yoga, that's why I like it when you do your own yoga practice. You don't just go to a class. You could go to a class and learn some moves and stuff and see what moves work good for you. And then you have a teacher available. But once you know your moves and what works for you, doing it at home and going at your own pace, I think, is better than just going at the pace of a class. And so, because it's more of a personal thing, it's you connecting to yourself. It's you going into the stretch, you feeling when the stretch is complete. Your body's not the same as everybody else. There's not a teacher who can say when your stretch is complete. So that is where, but you can also learn yoga on TV, on YouTube. You can learn it out of books. There's all sorts of stretches. So it's how you want to approach, but there is a lot of significance. There's a lot of positive stuff. And even in that movie that I was watching yesterday, The Perfect People, it was saying that too. Because it was like, it must have been when it was starting, because they're like, oh yeah, well, uh, Margot at work, she talks about doing yoga and meditation. And, the other people are like, what? What are you talking about? What's that? So it was back when this was getting going. Like I said, there's things now that are so mainstream, but a lot of the stuff when they started, people who were doing it were weirdos. Like, and I've been classified in weirdo for a long, long time. So to me, it's just like, well, whatever. And so the so the stretching and stuff, the movement every day, and the figuring out how to release these energy pockets and stuff that keep everything in flow in your body, you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start, and I would say, and everybody's different. So it's not even really important to know how long it could take, because you can't determine it comparison wise. Like if you have a really stiff joint that you have stopped using all the time. And another thing also, if you haven't been using it for a long time, is you're going to have to build its strength. And that's hard. And they showed that a lot in that show too. There's the people had let themselves go, and then they were going and trying to, do things. And I know when I very first started, like with my weights and stuff, like I was like, oh my gosh. So sometimes people start with like soup cans and stuff. That's how it used to be. And so you can just start with something that has some kind of weight. It could be anything. You just use your car keys. So whatever the thing is that you want to do, where you just consistently, and then you'll start seeing like, oh, I need to move up. This just feels like I'm doing nothing, because you want to feel your muscle. You focus on your muscle. Focus on what your muscle is doing when you're doing it. It's not just about lifting this thing. It's about, what is my muscle doing? Where is my muscle moving? What muscles are moving when I do this? And that is where I, talked about before too, where I really started noticing those things when I was here by myself and I was having to do things. And, I know I wasn't starting in a good position. Like there was definitely some years at the end where I wasn't taking that good of care of myself. I wasn't going to the gym. I would ride my bike and stuff like that. But still, I was drinking regularly with that husband. And and I wasn't drinking the wine and the beers the whole time. Then once it was like I was gaining weight, it was like white wine. And that's why I say one glass of white wine will still add on weight. You don't have to just drink, those, fancy martinis and stuff full of cream, and then think, well, that's going to put on weight. But any of this stuff, I don't know what it is. There's something in alcohol that just puts weight on to people without them really noticing. And so the, okay, let me think. So oh yeah, so I wasn't starting in a really, like I wasn't super healthy. Like, I mean, I was pretty healthy when I moved over here, I thought. Because that would have been in 2015 when I had started like my dark night. So that would have been when my stuff was starting to heal. So that's when I started losing weight. And I was super, super sick. And that's when I went off all the medications. And so I was already, and the weight that I had gained was like 30 pounds or something. And it was after the menopause. And they had said, oh, well, that just happened. See, they put this stuff in your mind. Like, I look at it very different, because I don't take any hormones or any of that stuff, and I don't have any side effects. I don't have any stuff like that. So I think they put that stuff in your head. I think you just got to find, your body knows how to compensate, knows how to take care of itself, how to realign. They disrupt that by getting you to take their stuff. So but I had already lost weight and stuff at that point. I was already thin when I moved over here, and I was already riding my bike all the time. I rode my bike everywhere. I either went on buses or rode my bike everywhere. I didn't drive around town. It was way too hard. It was way too hard to drive for a long time. I mean, I did all that just being here and being in the city. I didn't have to drive. I ride my bike, take the bus all over the place. But moving out here, that's where I was like, fuck, I gotta drive. And when I would drive into Bellingham to see my daughter, it was like, oh my God. And when we ever went to Bellingham, I'd have her drive. It was like, this is too much. I can't process what's happening fast enough. And things could trigger me. I would run lights and stuff. So it took a lot of practice. And that is when I started with my road trips and stuff that I talked about in the beginning when I first started doing this the first summer. This, it was like freedom to self and going out and pushing myself to do things that were hard and uncomfortable, and then working on, paying better attention and stuff like pushing my mind to do more, to grow, to heal and stuff. And so now it's not like I've gone and driven around in Seattle, but I'd say it still stresses me out. There's still way too much stuff going on that I don't like it. And so it's not like, hey, that'd be fun. I'm going to go down there and drive around in Seattle for fun. It's like, no, hell no. And I just don't like to do it. But going out on open roads and stuff, I always loved that. And so I can do that. But how am I off on this? Let me think. How am I off on oh yeah, okay. So there was a lot of things of me pushing myself to make these changes and grow. And so, and once I was over here, and then they shut everything down, and then I was like isolated. And I was like, man, that really changed. Like, boy, when you're open, you can go, and, it was very different. And everything, all of a sudden just changed. And then, so I was over here by myself, and I started doing stuff. I was just like, well, I'm just going to make the best of it. Just, here, just do stuff all the time around here. So I started doing all these things around here. That's when I started seeing, like, it's good to push yourself to do things that you don't know how to do. And there's all sorts of videos available on YouTube and stuff to show you how to do things that you don't know how to do. But you still there's a lot of strength and stuff you need. And that is where you see, like, going out and riding your bike all the time, that doesn't build the strength to, holding things above your head while you're trying to screw them in and stuff. Like, there's some shit where I was like, mother fuck. That's why one of the things why I stopped riding my bike all the time. Well, here, when I was riding it, there was not like a lot of places to go ride. And I'd go ride in this other neighborhood where I started driving through, and I start being like, oh my God, you could disappear in here. Nobody would ever know. And there's all these men, like, it's way too many drugs over there. And so that became creepy. And then, but there was something in the doing things and seeing, like, man, riding your bike isn't, like, I like riding my bike, but it's not, I mean, I'm not going to say, because there's a lot of bike riders out there in great shape. So, but they're, I don't know, they're riding 8 or 10 miles every day or something on these speed bikes or something. But, and I don't know the rest of their lifestyle, but for me, I felt like it was better for me to do like yoga and my weights in here than it was to go out and ride my bike. But going out and ride your bike is also cardiac, and you need to get your heart pumping. No matter what you're doing, you got to speed your heart up and make your heart pump through. It's like the filtering system to pump everything through, and just like, it's like this deep breathing also moves things through. So when you do that, you take in a deep breath, and there's a difference in how you blow it out too. There's ones where you're supposed to blow it slow. That's also in yoga. Or ones that you blow fast, or ones you blow in patterns. It does all different things. But that is also cleaning out your filter system, because it's cleaning your blood. Because you take a deep breath in, it gets your blood all going. And so all of these things, and it adds oxygen into your blood, which your blood has different blood cells, as the red blood cells and the white blood cells. The red blood cells need oxygen, and that's where you have more sicknesses. The more that they can affect your respiratory health, then the more that they can affect your blood too. That's why even people who have any kind of blood CANCRs, they should also be aware of their respiratory, and they should probably do like mullein teas and dandelion tea and all that kind of stuff to clear that stuff out naturally. But then, you also have to partake in the clearing. Like, you have to do your movement, your breathing and stuff. And so, anytime that you are getting joints that are sore, that should be kind of a sign like, oh, I need to get in there and do some moving and stuff. And also, I like dancing. Dancing is also a cardio thing. You can put on, you can make it fun. It doesn't have to be tedious. And like, what I do is short bursts of it through the day. Like, I swear, some of the little bursts I do are probably a minute and a half. A minute and a half of like, I'm gonna do some weights, and and then that's all until, and I may do 3 or 4 times through the day. It just depends. Like, there could be a day where I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do some more, because it is kind of fun. I had my weights, and I was dancing. I could only do one song. That was like, fuck, try and dance with 8-pound weights in each hand. But those things, see, is what, to me, is about this building your strength, so that you can do all these things, so that you can, to me, it's like the survival of the fittest, kind of. So where you have, it's not just like one thing. It's like you take care of the whole thing. And so, that is important. But it's just weird, like in that movie, how it showed that was a thing. It was a popular thing. And it was also this big introduction to plastic surgery. And they showed that, and they showed the pressure that people were under when they would go. And this whole, you can look real good. Just go in and do this. And all these people start going under the knife. And that's where it started taking off. And there was a bunch of conversations in it. Oh, well, some people don't like plastic, and they just look at you like you're fake. And then this other person would be like, no, I think that's the best way. I think everybody needs to change and become perfect. Like, this whole thing, like, you watch it play out. And it was really interesting. It was really good because was so true too, especially because we're so far past that, and we can see how it has played out, and now we're at this point of really seeing the repercussions of it, and that all these things were not good for us, and the most important thing is to learn to love yourself. So you're not supposed to be trying to change yourself. And then there was so many talks about this getting older thing, but the getting older is the stopping taking care of themselves. And it was so apparent. And then once you start taking care of yourself and building up your confidence and feeling good, then you're putting out a whole different person in the world than this person who feels bad about themselves and they've given up on themselves. They're not worth it anyways. And oh well, I tried to lose weight once and I just gain, I don't lose. And it's all of this very self-defeating victim mentality that they're just not built up on themselves. Once you get all cranked up on you, where you feel good, it's like, look, I can do whatever I want. I can be whoever I want. This is this woman today, or that was yesterday. There was this girl who did this video, and she had all this big picking all over her face. She didn't look like a druggie to me, especially because when she did her video, she goes, I've been trying so hard to stop picking and I just can't stop. I just did this and now I've got an infection. And so I went in to look at the comments, and there was people who were talking about picking and, trying to give advice and stuff. And when I was a teenager, I had a horrible complexion, so I was constantly picking at my face. And my mom would do the same thing, tell me to stop, but it's like hard to stop. And so to me, because I had a bad complexion, I loved the fact that the sun would dry your skin up. And going into the swimming pool, because we had a swimming pool, going into a swimming pool, the chlorine would dry up your face. So summertime was the best because your zits would all dry up if you were outside and in the pool. So anyways, I told the girl, uh, you know, because she's like, does anybody have any advice? What can I do? What can I do? And I said, well, if you go in the swimming pool and you go in the sun, and she was very white. And I said, if you go in the swimming pool in the sun, it will dry it up. And somebody came in and gave me this long thing. How dare you? Don't give that advice. The sun will cause scarring. The sun's so bad for you and all this shit. And I said, I'm talking about something I did. I'm going to speak my own truth. And, these speaking police that want to come and tell us what we're allowed to say and stuff, I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm not going to, I don't give a shit. It's ridiculous. These people come in and tell us, you can't say that. Don't say this. Don't say that. Well, you can't. Oh, my God. It's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And there's people who would jump all down my throat because they said Jesus Christ. Or say God damn it and stuff. Like, it's like people gotta see. Like, you're just looking to be over somebody else. I swear to God, that's part of the whole thing with religion, this hierarchy of the ego. Oh, well, we're on Jesus' side. Well, you're on. So, anyways, that, let me think. Oh, because I did want to say too about the money is that is definitely plummeting, but there is it's like a fucking circus to watch because there's not that many people who really know about like Nisargazar or the age of Aquarius or the golden age, the new age, the cycles and all that stuff. So there's not a lot of people who come at it from these perspectives. They come at it from all these different ones. And like I said, these people, oh, it's going to be fine, people. It's going to be fine. We're just going to clean this up. Go out and buy stocks while you can. It's like, oh my God, these people just accept it. It's like everybody, get rich quick. Come on. Let's all do it together. And it's just this, I don't know. There's this really immoral part of humanity that is very comfortable. So, anyways, and then there's other people who are there's just an arrogant perspective out there, but that there's so much going. There's so many people talking about it, and supposedly it's all over Twitter too. And so it was like crashing, crashing, crashing. Buffett's selling off all his stuff. All these big things are plummeting. Supposedly Bezos lost a huge amount. Like, but all of these, you know, these big money people, their money's going back to into the pool of money. Like there, any people who that is a part of the whole thing is any of the people who were involved in certain kinds of crimes, they lose all their stuff is confiscated. All their stuff, it goes back to the people. And so they, whatever all of they were trying to build themselves up and keep for themselves, there's a lot of, you know, people who committed crimes and stuff to do that was against humanity. Like there's all sorts of lawsuits and stuff coming out on Amazon and stuff. There's a lot of shady practices. So these shady practices is what's going to have little things attached to them called crimes against the, you know, human people, that is going to be the you know, the deciding factor. And there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be associated to that because there was so much of with the lies and tricking us and them being able to drive up costs. Like that's all has to do with like the housing market, all of this shit, and how they create inflation. They have where they own everything, and so then they can make us pay whatever they want. And oh yeah, I got the car insurance, you know. Oh, my mom got the car insurance. So then the guy called me and he's like, I don't think I have the right driver's license number for you. And so I gave him my driver's license number. And so then he calls me yesterday. He says, your driver's license is whatever it's called, expired. And I was like, no way, it's not expired. It's got years left. And I kept thinking it was 2027 that it expired. And so I went and got my license out and looked. It was just the other day. I was a son of a bitch. So I don't know. We'll see how this week goes because there's none of that stuff we're going to need. I mean, we won't need any of this stuff. We won't need insurance. We won't need license, any of this stuff in this new, when their world falls apart, because that was all ways to just keep us trapped, to keep us, you know, well, you have to have a license. Well, your license is, you know, it's all these little fucking hoops to jump through that they're setting for us that is nonsensical. So the stuff is all going away. And so we'll see. Because, you know, I had heard before that the Wall Street will be plummeting for a couple days and then everything will start going. And so we'll see how that plays out. But so Wall Street can be going and then banks, you know, people not being able to get their money out. Like it's all going to be this domino effect. It's just hard to know the pattern of how it's going to fall. So, but it's all in the process of falling at the present time. And so then there's lots of people who, you know, like getting silver is your best thing. And yesterday they were saying that the silver, gold, everything was going down. And the thing is that everything that has no value won't come back up. So the things that have no value, it has to have asset backed. It has to have something there. That's why gold, silver, something that you can hold in your hand, something right here. This has the value. And then gold has a certain value to the whole world by what it's used for. And so it drives the value of it. And silver, they had repressed it and they had repressed technology. And so that, Jesus Christ, I swear these motherfucking archons. So they repress the value so that, and then there's, you know, I mean, what do people think about with silver? Oh, jewelry. I think with gold too, but there's other things that this stuff is used for. And that is going to be a big thing about silver, is it's going to go way up because there's stuff in the technology that is made with silver thread, apparently. And the silver thread is going to make silver have all sorts of value because this whatever this technology is that's going to be used. So there's going to be, where it's even going to go up more. So don't just go get it and then just think, well, as soon as it goes up, I'm just going to sell it. Get some that you want to save for long term, because it's going to go way, way up to where it could be like 10,000 an ounce, just like how gold, I think, is like 5,000 an ounce. It's going to go way, way up in value. And people don't understand the value of these things. Like the same thing with copper, platinum, any of these metals. Somebody just told me that they have iron. Anything that you have, it's all going to be dependent on what it's used for. If there's a use for it, then that's going to drive up the cost of it, especially on the availability. But that is where you have your asset backed, and that is where they're all talking about this XRPs and what is that other one? The Bitcoin. The Bitcoin for definitely gonna go down because it was used for crime. It was developed, I think, for being able to do things and not be able to be tracked. So you could buy things in the dark or without people knowing. So that some of that currency that they used was created for that. So it could be, hidden. And so that stuff is going to go down. And then anything that doesn't have some asset backed, that's going to go down. And that's the thing about the dollar. Once they took it off of the gold standard, they just started printing up paper, and they started basing it something on the petrol. So it's all this rigmarole about petrol. Well, once this with Iran and the places where the petrol is, that is what is big thing with dinar and the money and stuff like that, because they're not using our currency anymore for that. So our currency has no value and it's plummeting. But they're here, they're trying to make it be like it's fine, it's fine. No, this is it. There's no value. It's paper. There's nothing backing it. And so that is, this big crash. But you've got to look at it. It's not just these countries. There's just certain people who had resources that they were using, and those people are all going down. So that is why everything is cleaning up. It's like everything that they were holding on to is going down. And so it's giving us clean water, micro, macro. So we're going into this more cleanse. And so so when it starts going back up, so whatever is going down, that's all part of the crash. But what will come back up will be the thing that's asset back. So it will be the silver, the gold, platinum, copper, um, whatever expensive kind of metals that are used. And then, and they'll have different values and stuff. But the one that was so repressed was the silver. So it's going to go way up real quick, where they're thinking like when I bought mine, it was like $28 an ounce or something like that. And then it's supposed to go to 600 to 1,000 in the first year, which it could go up to 10,000 once this development starts going, where they start using this more, where it starts being like, oh, well, look at what we can use for silver. Then that's going to be like, look, I got something worth something now. So but there's going to be a big jump. I mean, it's still going to get you through any of the stuff that's going to go on. And plus, it gives you a confidence like, oh, I'm going to be fine. I'll be fine. And so that's why, just go and gather up your jewelry and stuff, especially old jewelry. That real silver and real gold will have value, and that's what you're going to be wanting to use. And they're going to bring this new currency out, and it's something called like rainbow currency or freedom currency or something like that. And it's going to be worldwide. Like everybody's going to have the same. We're not going to have to try and figure out, well, how many euros to how many yens or whatever. It's going to all just be asset backed. That's another thing of why I'm saying I think that they're going to draw the citizens back to their own countries by the lure of, you want to get yours, you better get back here. And so, because it's going to be divided out from our countries. And so that's what's going on in all these different ones. But they've got to take it away. But everybody, needs the trauma of the loss to wake them up so that they can understand what's happening, because this is more than just changing money. This is a huge changeover for humanity. You have to realize, like, the mistakes that we've made, And so so while you're watching all this stuff, it's going to seem chaotic, but just have an understanding over what's going to go forward is what has something that's really has something in your hand, not just, like, well, that's why this whole thing with Wall Street investments and Jesus Christ, the retirements, even the housing market it's all a scam. And so that's why it's all going to crash. Oh my God, Stella, they've inflated the prices just to enslave us, just to make us work harder. And, it's all a scam. So that's what, because they're going to totally do a reevaluation on houses and stuff. And the car thing is crashing hard already. And so crazy too is people are like, well, this is when everything will go down. You can run out and buy a house now because the what is that number that they add on to your loan? 2%, 3%, 4%, 9%. There was people who were getting 9% on their housings. But so, it will drop down the interest rate. So that will drop down. But no, they're not even going to be loaning money. They're not going to be giving money. Any of these, this is the crashing of it. This is like, there's no value. It was all inflated. It was all just print out more paper. And the house has no more value than it had. It's this jack up the price to make it seem like it has value. Make everybody want it. It's a scam. So anyways, just as this is all playing out, however it bounces up and down and goes, it's all just to get us able to, get on board and wake up to see, because that's the important part. It's the part of getting people to see. And it's going to be kind of like a weeding out. It's kind of like a filtering system, is you'll see once the people start awakening and their soul comes on and they have to face themselves, it's going to be too hard. People are going to be too, like, it's a lot nicer living in the dark than it is having to face yourself. It's going to be like that for a lot of people. So anyways, but that is why, there's a lot of people who have been working on your empathy and your compassion, because you got to see, just like that lady, like, we don't know why she's in her uniform. They're calling all these soldiers. There's lots of people who don't have family members, don't have anybody to take their pets. And then when everything is over flooded and they're telling them to go dump them out in the woods. But to me, I still say, at least give the animals a chance. I mean, they don't have much chance being dumped in these facilities. They're just putting them out they're just, killing young, healthy dogs nonstop all day long. So anyways, I have been yakety-yakking a little while. And I don't know if I got everything said that I wanted to say. I probably still have some files open, but my brain is tired. So, okay. So just keep going with the flow. There's nothing else you can do. Whatever triggers you, remember that's what you're here to heal. And so stay on top of your healing and staying present in your moment so that you aren't jumping ahead. And so it's like an appreciation for this moment, because this moment will be gone. And then I don't know how to explain it, but all these moments are the only moments that we're going to have of this experience. And then things are going to be going into new moments. And so even though there's time periods where it's like, I just want out of this, I just want this to hurry, I just, really get into what is your experience through this, though? What are you, because you're never going to have it again. That's the thing. When we're looking for a different moment, we're always missing out on the moment we have. So stay present and work on you. Work on loving you, loving everyone, and having a loving day, because it's up to you. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.